Welcome back to the deep dive. Today we're taking a fascinating turn, moving away from some of the more, complex political
A
analyses.
bit of a different source text for us.
Exactly. We are going to explore what I think is one of the richest sources of insight into human behavior, narrative poetry. And specifically, we're doing a deep dive into the story that's woven through the lyrics of just a single song, Man to Man by Wesko.
It's an excellent choice.
Yeah.
I mean, what we have here is basically a generational roadmap written in verse.
A roadmap, I like that. So what's our mission here?
I think our mission is pretty clear. We're extracting the fundamental keys to how identity and vulnerability and these essential life lessons are actually passed down, specifically in those critical unspoken moments, the ones defined by that phrase, man to man.
And I think that's perfect because the song, the source material, it immediately suggests that man to man isn't. It's not a fixed thing.
Not at all.
It shifts, right? It changes dramatically depending on where you are in life, from, childhood to being an adult to loss.
And what's really illuminating, I think, is how the whole narrative focuses on the difference between telling someone something and showing them.
Right.
The lessons that really stick, the ones that fundamentally shape this person, they're almost always delivered through shared experience. Often when words just, they fail, or they're deliberately left out.
So it's a history of nonverbal understanding.
Precisely.
Okay, so let's unpack this history. Let's start right at the beginning, at the foundation. This silent education of youth. The narrator starts by setting the scene for us. He recalls being knee-high chest, hiding nothing. That image alone, it gives you a sense of complete openness.
Total vulnerability. And where does this first lesson happen? It's not in a classroom.
No.
It's not a lecture. It's all centered around practical, shared work. They're looking for a nice-looking piece of land where we could throw up a deer stand.
So the work itself is the classroom.
The work is the currency of the relationship. It grounds their whole connection in competence, in doing something together.
And the lyrics, they just beautifully capture the raw emotion of that. He talks about the first cold evening, but he's very clear about why he's anxious. He says he's shaking like a leaf, and it ain't from freezing.
Right. So it's not the temperature.
It's something bigger.
It's the significance of it all, the expectation, maybe the little bit of fear that comes with being, initiated into this world.
That anxiety is so key. It shows that even without anyone saying, do this right, the emotional stakes are incredibly high for him.
They are. But the real breakthrough, the first actual lesson, it's delivered in total silence. After all the work is done, after the narrator laid the hammer down, the father didn't say too much, but I could understand.
And that's it. That's the whole exchange.
That's it. That's the lesson. The insight here is that competence replaces praise. Man to man at this stage means, well, it means communicated competence. You get the acknowledgement because you did the work. You can see it.
So the father holding back, it's not him being cold or indifferent.
No. It's a silent expression of trust. It says, you did it. You understand the standard. And that's enough.
Wow. Okay, so that sets up this powerful pattern of stoicism, of self-reliance. But if silent pride and, getting the job done defines his youth, how does that bond hold up when a real, messy emotional crisis hits?
And that's the test, isn't it?
Yeah.
The narrative jumps ahead. The narrator's now 16. He's 6 feet tall. He feels grown. His beat of my drum was thump, jumping, bumping. He thinks he's arrived. He believes he's achieved the maturity that deer stand promised.
But it's an illusion.
It's a total illusion, and it's shattered instantly. Not by, failing at a task, but by emotional collapse. He gives us the exact words, I don't love you, boy. I don't want you anymore.
Devastating.
And the effect of those words is it's immediate regression. He turns back into that blue-eyed little boy. It just shows you how fragile that whole 6-foot-tall, grown identity really was.
Because the world just delivered a blow that his father never taught him how to block.
Exactly. The deer stand lessons don't apply here.
So this moment, it needs a different kind of intervention, something that the silent code just didn't cover. And this is where the father's role completely changes.
It has to.
He doesn't give him a lecture. He doesn't say toughen up. Instead, he took that first beer can and he put it in my hand.
And this is where the text gets so interesting and complex.
Yeah.
This isn't about, a moral instruction. It's a shared coping mechanism.
It's a ritual.
It is. The act of offering the beer, it completely reclassifies their relationship. It's a nonverbal confirmation. It says, I see your pain. I acknowledge its real adult sorrow.
It moves them from teacher and student
To peers.
sharing a burden. So the new meaning of man to man in a crisis is what? Sanctioned vulnerability.
That's a perfect way to put it. Sanctioned vulnerability. The core teaching isn't how to build the stand anymore. It's how to survive the fallout. And by offering that shared, imperfect way of coping, the father creates the first real space for the narrator to just be weak. He's confirming that even stoicism has its limits.
Yeah.
And sometimes, yeah, shared weakness is the strongest connection you can have.
That moment, that shared moment, it just sets the stage perfectly for the next shift in the cycle. Continuation. The narrator, who has been mentored through work and then through crisis, he now steps into that role himself. He has a boy of my own.
And the grandfather, the original mentor from the deer stand, he's still there. He's described as standing steady as a stone.
He's that living embodiment of the silent code, right? The foundation, the anchor.
He is. He's watching the whole cycle continue.
And this is the incredible part. Despite that rock-steady appearance, the emotional weight of this moment, it causes an involuntary breakdown. The narrator notices that tears were raining when he heard just what I named him.
And what's so fascinating is that this is the first real break in the armor we see.
From the grandfather, yeah.
From the grandfather. All his life, he kept his pride silent. A quiet nod at the deer stand was enough. But naming the next generation, that transcends the silent code. It's about legacy. It's about connection.
He's not teaching or coping anymore. He's on the receiving end. He's getting the ultimate gift of continuity.
Yes. The name itself is the final, profound emotional statement. His tears speak for the entire family line. They confirm a bond that's stronger than even his own stoicism could contain.
So the third meaning of man-to-man here is legacy, the confirmation of legacy.
I think so. It's where the highest emotional currency isn't pride in work or shared sorrow. It's just this pure, involuntary expression of love.
And that deep, unspoken understanding that's been forged across labor and sorrow and now legacy. It all leads us to the final and most somber stage of this journey.
The goodbye.
The goodbye. The narrator gets the call. Mama called, Mama cried. And he recognizes this impossible feeling of trying to hold them hands of time so I could say goodbye.
That image, trying to physically stop time, it perfectly captures that desperation for one last meaningful communication. But what's left to say? What kind of communication is there when time is running out?
The setting is so simple. Stripped down, he walks in, he sits down in that little room. All the big life lessons, they've already been taught.
There's no time and really no need for a final speech, no instructions.
And the final definitive moment of man-to-man communication is, it's entirely physical. It's intuitive. It completes the circle that started at that deer stand.
She says he just grabbed your hand and he knew implicitly you'd understand.
No words needed.
None at all.
So when we look at this whole lyrical roadmap, what does it really teach us about human connection?
I think it demonstrates that the deepest bonds are built on a history of shared experience, of intuition, and that makes language almost redundant in the most critical moments.
So the final meaning of man-to-man is just that intuitive connection.
It's the ultimate trust. Decades of shared silence and shared pain mean you don't need words to say goodbye. The bond exists completely outside the verbal realm.
It's a remarkable journey. You trace it from that silent observation during the hunt, to the shared sorrow over a beer, to the tearful pride in naming a child.
And finally, just grasping a hand in farewell.
It's all rooted in the unspoken.
And the big takeaway, I think, is that these relationships thrive on rituals, not on explanations. Building the stand, sharing the drink, naming the air. The communication is so strong because it's always delivered through action and context. And that builds a foundation that can handle almost any pressure without breaking.
So if these foundational relationships are really built more on those shared moments, on silent understanding rather than explicit instruction, think about this for yourself. What are the key nonverbal rituals in your life? The ones that truly define your closest bonds?
What are the actions you take where you just know, without speaking, that you were perfectly understood?
That's a deep dive for you to start on your own.